What if everything you knew about human history was a tightly wound lie, woven by the very institutions you trust to preserve the truth? Imagine standing in the echoing halls of the Smithsonian, where whispers of forbidden knowledge reverberate in the shadows. In 1891, the chilling discovery of a 12-foot human skeleton in the depths of a Kentucky cave sent ripples of panic through the scientific community. Yet, this gargantuan relic never saw the light of public display. Why, you ask? Because the Smithsonian, the gatekeeper of history, swiftly and silently interred this anomaly into the abyss of obscurity. This isn't just a story about one skeleton. It's about a systemic erasure of evidence that challenges every tenet of accepted anthropology. It's about unraveling a tapestry of deceit that has been meticulously curated to erase the towering truths of our past. Welcome to the mystery they never wanted you to solve. The evidence is undeniable. In 1876, the town of Eureka, Nevada, became the epicenter of a sensational discovery when miners unearthed a massive jawbone that belonged to a human towering beyond imagination. The dimensions of this bone defied every rule in the anatomical book. When presented to the local authorities, the artifact was promptly collected by representatives claiming to be from a national museum. The bone vanished, leaving behind only whispers and a handful of faded photographs. This wasn't an isolated incident. A pattern emerges, one that shows a deliberate attempt to cleanse our history of its giant secrets. The jawbone's sheer size was a testament to a lineage of humans whose existence has been meticulously erased. Each artifact, each bone, each skeleton is a silent scream against the enforced narrative. But why is such evidence so dangerous? What truth did our ancestors leave behind that institutions are so desperate to conceal? Step into the chilling corridors of suppressed truth as we connect the dots between these forbidden finds. In 1856, the Red River Valley in Minnesota became the site of yet another astonishing discovery. Farmers, while plowing their fields, stumbled upon a burial mound containing skeletons of staggering proportions. Local newspapers buzzed with the news, but the artifacts were promptly confiscated by representatives from a prominent museum, never to be seen again. What's most fascinating is the eerie similarity in the way these discoveries are handled. The swift disappearance of these bones, the hasty retraction of any public announcements, and the sudden silence that follows, a pattern of quiet eradication. Each incident is a puzzle piece, forming a picture of an ancient race whose story has been deliberately buried. What does this recurring censorship tell us about the history woven into our textbooks? The verdict is clear, and it shakes the very foundation of our historical understanding. The systematic cover-up of these giant skeletons isn't just a series of isolated incidents. It's a concerted effort to preserve a narrative that keeps us in the dark. Why is acknowledging the existence of these giants so threatening? Because it challenges everything we think we know about human evolution and our place in the timeline of existence. The Smithsonian and other institutions have acted as gatekeepers, ensuring that these inconvenient truths remain hidden from the public eye. The implications are profound, forcing us to question the origins of humankind, the myths and legends we dismissed as fantasy, and the very nature of our ancestors. If these giants were real, what else have we been misled about? What other truths are hidden in the annals of history, waiting to be uncovered? As the final curtain falls on this tale of concealed history, you're left with a chilling question: who truly wrote our history? The unsettling silence of these institutions echoes a dread that resonates through the chambers of our minds. Why are the stories of these colossal beings not etched into our historical records? With each revelation, it becomes increasingly clear that the pages of our past have been edited, rewritten to fit a narrative that keeps the extraordinary out of reach. Before you close this chapter, ask yourself, what else have they hidden from us? Seek out the stories of the 12-foot skeletons. Let your curiosity be the light that exposes the shadows. Remember, history is written by the victors, but its truths are whispered by those brave enough to seek them. The tale begins with an artifact that defies conventional explanations. A femur bone unearthed in 1899 near the Santa Fe River in Florida, measuring an astonishing 4 feet in length. This singular bone suggested a human stature of at least 12 feet, an impossible height that challenges our understanding of physiology. The discovery was reported in local papers, igniting a brief spark of curiosity before being snuffed out by the machinations of academic authorities. Within weeks, the bone was seized by representatives allegedly working under the auspices of the Smithsonian. The artifact vanished into the depths of their archives, never to be exhibited, discussed, or acknowledged. The femur's existence was a threat, a tangible piece of evidence that could unravel the tightly held narratives of human evolution and history. Why was this bone so dangerous? Because it stood as a testament to a past that refuses to conform to established doctrines. In 1902, the Mississippi River was the site of another unsettling discovery. During a routine excavation near St. Louis, workers stumbled upon a burial chamber that housed the remains of a humanoid figure of colossal proportions. The skeleton was complete, with a skull that bore a cranial capacity far exceeding that of modern humans. Local scholars were initially permitted to examine the remains, noting the impossibility of its dimensions. But the moment news began to spread, the skeleton was hastily claimed by representatives from a prominent Eastern museum. The skeleton disappeared, and with it, any potential to challenge mainstream scientific paradigms. Why was this discovery sealed away so quickly? Because it called into question the linear progression of human development, a narrative crafted and protected by those in power, determined to dictate the boundaries of accepted history. In the year 1911, Lovelock Cave in Nevada revealed its secrets to a group of guano miners who inadvertently unearthed a cache of oversized tools and bones. Among the finds was a set of giant human remains, their size dwarfing anything previously recorded. The miners, captivated and mystified, reached out to local archaeologists. Reports of the discovery slipped into the public domain, creating a murmur of excitement across the nation. But this was short-lived. The artifacts, along with the bones, were swiftly confiscated by a team of academics, their existence denied in subsequent publications. What was it about these remains that warranted such a rapid and thorough suppression? Lovelock Cave's secrets posed a direct challenge to the timeline of human habitation in North America, suggesting an advanced race of giants whose achievements predated recognized history. The year was 1915, and the rolling hills of West Virginia held a secret that would unsettle the most steadfast historians. A farmer, while expanding his fields, stumbled upon a mass burial ground. Among the remains were skeletons of towering humans, each exceeding 10 feet in height. These bones bore the hallmarks of a sophisticated culture. Intricately carved jewelry and tools lay beside them. News of the find reached the local community, sparking curiosity and fear. However, before any formal examination could take place, representatives from a national museum descended upon the site. The skeletons, along with any accompanying artifacts, were removed under the guise of preservation. The site was sealed, its existence denied in the annals of academic publication. This find was more than just an anomaly. It was a direct threat to the linear narrative of human evolution, a narrative fiercely protected by the gatekeepers of history. In 1918, the remote Badlands of South Dakota became the backdrop for yet another baffling discovery. Explorers, delving into the rugged terrain, uncovered a petrified forest with remains of giants embedded within the rock. These were not mere bones, but fossilized entities, their features preserved in astonishing detail. Scholars who initially studied the site were awestruck by the implications, noting the presence of humanoid giants alongside prehistoric flora and fauna. Yet, as swiftly as these findings were reported, they were erased from public discourse. The fossils were claimed by a renowned university, their existence dismissed in subsequent academic discussions. The Badlands giants posed uncomfortable questions. Were these beings the original inhabitants of the Americas, their legacy deliberately erased to maintain a sanitized version of history? The silence surrounding their existence speaks volumes, a testament to the power of those who decide what truths are allowed to surface. The silence shrouding these discoveries is not merely the absence of noise. It is a deliberate orchestration by the gatekeepers of history. In 1895, the small town of Moundsville, West Virginia, became the site of a staggering discovery. Archaeologists unearthed a giant skeleton adorned with elaborate copper armor, suggesting a being of significant importance. The armor's craftsmanship, unlike anything seen before, hinted at advanced metallurgical techniques. However, the moment this find was reported, the artifacts and skeleton were whisked away by representatives of the Smithsonian. The local community was left with nothing but rumors, their history stripped away with surgical precision. The armor, a testament to a forgotten civilization's prowess, was never displayed, never acknowledged. Why? Because its mere existence threatened to unravel the tightly controlled narrative of human technological advancement, a narrative closely guarded by academic elites who dictate what is and isn't allowed to be part of our historical consciousness. In 1908, the serene hills of the Ohio Valley concealed a mystery that would shake the foundations of conventional historical timelines. An ordinary day turned extraordinary when construction workers unearthed a burial pit filled with the remains of several giants. Each skeleton measured over 10 feet in height, their bones arranged in ceremonial fashion. Accompanying these remains were tablets inscribed with mysterious symbols, suggesting a complex language lost to time. The public was initially captivated by the find, but the promise of an anthropological breakthrough was short-lived. Within days, a team from a major university arrived, declaring the site off-limits. The skeletons and artifacts were removed, their existence officially denied in academic circles. What were they hiding? Perhaps the tablets held secrets of a sophisticated civilization that predated known history, a civilization whose existence would challenge the linear narrative of human development so carefully curated by mainstream academia. The saga of concealed history continues with a tale from the bustling streets of New York in 1910. During the construction of a new subway line, workers stumbled upon a hidden chamber beneath the city's surface. Inside, they found skeletal remains of immense proportions, accompanied by ancient artifacts. The discovery was briefly celebrated in local newspapers, hailed as a glimpse into the city's pre-colonial past. Yet, as quickly as it emerged, the narrative was suppressed. The bones were collected by a team of government officials, the chamber sealed, and any further exploration prohibited. The artifacts, too, vanished into the archives of a private collection, never to be seen by the public. This wasn't just about preserving the city's infrastructure. It was about maintaining control over the narrative of its origins. The implications of such a find were too radical, too disruptive to the established story of America's development. In 1913, the arid deserts of Arizona yielded a discovery that would again raise the specter of forgotten giants. Deep within a canyon, explorers uncovered a series of caves containing giant human remains. These caves were not simple burial sites. They were adorned with petroglyphs and artifacts that suggested a sophisticated culture. The explorers documented their findings with photographs and detailed notes, eager to share their revelation with the world. However, before they could present their discovery to the public, a team of archaeologists from a prestigious institution intervened, confiscating all evidence. The caves were declared off-limits, and the explorers' accounts were discredited. This was more than a cover-up. It was an erasure of history. The petroglyphs and artifacts pointed to a civilization that thrived in the desert long before modern history acknowledged such possibilities, a civilization deliberately erased to protect the established narrative. The final thread in this tapestry of hidden history leads us to the secluded woods of Wisconsin in 1919. A group of hunters, venturing deeper into the forest than ever before, stumbled upon a circular arrangement of stones, within which lay the remains of a giant. The skeleton, remarkably preserved, was accompanied by tools and ornaments that defied known historical records. The hunters, awed by their find, reported it to local authorities. But rather than celebrate this discovery, the authorities swiftly covered it up. Representatives from a national museum arrived, removing the skeleton and artifacts with little explanation. The site was left unmarked, its history buried beneath layers of bureaucracy and silence. Why was this site so threatening? Because it suggested the existence of a culture that possessed knowledge and skills beyond the accepted historical timeline, a culture whose legacy was intentionally erased to maintain the status quo. As we weave through these tales of vanished giants, a chilling pattern of calculated erasure emerges, pointing toward a deliberate suppression of history. In 1903, the Black Hills of South Dakota were the backdrop for a remarkable find, a giant skeleton unearthed amidst the ruins of an ancient dwelling. The structure, built with an architectural sophistication that rivaled known ancient civilizations, was accompanied by artifacts that suggested an advanced society. Yet, before any detailed studies could be conducted, the area was cordoned off by authorities. The bones and artifacts were removed, never to be seen or studied again. This orchestrated disappearance raises profound questions. Why is the existence of such a civilization so threatening? The Black Hills discovery could have rewritten the history of human habitation in North America, revealing a past where giants walked among us, blending seamlessly with the societies of their time. The saga of concealment continues with the astonishing finds of 1901 in the depths of the Grand Canyon. Explorers, claiming to have stumbled upon a network of tunnels, reported encounters with giant mummies. These mummies, preserved in an arid microclimate, wore intricate headdresses and jewelry, hinting at a civilization of grandeur and complexity. The explorers' accounts, published in a local newspaper, generated a fleeting moment of curiosity before the site was abruptly closed off by federal authorities. Access to the tunnels was forbidden, the artifacts seized, and the explorers' credibility questioned. The potential implications of such a find were staggering, suggesting contact between prehistoric giants and indigenous tribes. But these narratives were silenced, ensuring that the Grand Canyon's secrets remained hidden, protected by those determined to maintain the prevailing historical narrative. In 1910, the quiet town of Goshen, Indiana, became the center of a historical storm. Construction workers, digging near the Elkhart River, unearthed a colossal skeleton. Its size and proportions were unlike anything seen before, with features that suggested a different lineage entirely. News of the discovery spread quickly, capturing the imagination of the public. However, the euphoria was short-lived. Within days, representatives from a national museum arrived, confiscating the remains under the guise of research. The skeleton vanished, with no records of its whereabouts. The museum's silence was deafening, as this find could have challenged the established views on human evolution. Why was it so important to hide this evidence? Because it pointed to the existence of a race of giants that defied the linear progression of evolution, challenging the very foundations of anthropological science. In 1907, the wheat fields of Nebraska concealed a secret that would disrupt the annals of history. Farmers, turning their soil, uncovered a series of burial mounds containing the remains of giants. Each skeleton was accompanied by tools and ceremonial objects, intricately crafted and unlike any known to the region. The initial excitement was palpable, with local historians eager to investigate further. But their efforts were thwarted by the intervention of a powerful academic institution. The mounds were excavated, the artifacts collected, and the site reburied under layers of bureaucracy. The evidence was never displayed, never studied, effectively erased from the historical record. Why such drastic measures? The Nebraska giants posed a direct challenge to the narrative of human migration and technological advancement, a narrative fiercely protected by those who wield power over the past. As the dust of history settles, one final mystery lingers: a 1916 discovery in the ancient forests of Maine. A logging operation unearthed the remains of a giant, encased in a wooden sarcophagus. The preservation was remarkable, echoing ancient embalming techniques. This find captured the attention of local academics, who speculated about an unknown civilization residing in the region. However, the sarcophagus and its occupant were swiftly removed by representatives from a distinguished museum, their existence never acknowledged in academic journals. The Maine giant posed questions that reached beyond the confines of traditional anthropology, suggesting a complex society capable of sophisticated burial practices. The deliberate concealment of such a discovery speaks to a greater truth. History, as we know it, is curated by those who control the narrative, ensuring that only certain facets of our past are allowed to illuminate the present. As we reach the climax of this hidden saga, the unavoidable conclusion emerges. Our history has been meticulously edited, fragments of truth buried beneath centuries of orchestrated silence. In 1897, the shores of Lake Superior bore witness to a discovery that could not be ignored. Fishermen, casting their nets, retrieved not fish, but a massive, fossilized bone unmistakably human in origin, yet impossibly large. The bone was subjected to initial scrutiny by local scientists, who speculated about its origins. But before further analysis could ensue, representatives from a prominent Eastern university collected the artifact, citing the need for detailed examination. The bone was never seen again, its fate sealed by the gatekeepers of academia. This was more than an act of preservation. It was an act of erasure. The Lake Superior bone suggested a prehistory that defied accepted norms, a history of giants that threatened to overshadow our own. The pattern of suppression is stark and undeniable. In 1912, the rural landscapes of Tennessee concealed a secret that would challenge the very fabric of anthropological dogma. Farmers, while plowing their fields, unearthed a network of ancient tunnels filled with the remains of giants. Each skeleton was positioned with deliberate care, surrounded by artifacts and carvings that depicted a complex societal structure. The discovery was briefly celebrated in local media, hailed as a window into a forgotten age. Yet, before any meaningful study could commence, government agents arrived, declaring the site a matter of national security. The tunnels were sealed, and the artifacts removed, their existence denied in subsequent reports. The Tennessee tunnels pointed to an advanced civilization, one that thrived long before recorded history acknowledged such sophistication. The silence that followed was deafening, a testament to the power of those who dictate the boundaries of our past. In the year 1905, the red earth of Oklahoma revealed a truth too grand to ignore. During a routine excavation, workers stumbled upon a cache of bones belonging to a race of giants. Their remains mingled with ancient instruments of war. These weapons, forged with techniques unknown to the period, suggested a civilization skilled in both art and battle. The discovery was initially embraced, with townsfolk flocking to the site to witness the spectacle. However, the excitement was quelled when academic authorities arrived, confiscating the bones and artifacts under the pretense of preservation. The site was declared off-limits, and the narrative was swiftly rewritten. The Oklahoma giants represented a past that was both advanced and enigmatic, challenging the simplistic view of linear human progression. Their erasure from history was not accidental, but an orchestrated effort to maintain a sanitized version of our origins. The whispers of forgotten giants echo through the annals of history, their stories sealed by those who fear their implications. In 1914, the remote landscapes of Montana became the stage for yet another suppressed narrative. Miners, delving deep within the earth, unearthed a burial chamber containing giant skeletons adorned with intricate headdresses and beads. These remains, preserved in the cool depths, were accompanied by tools and ceremonial objects that spoke of a culture rich in tradition and knowledge. The miners' accounts were swiftly met with skepticism, their credibility questioned as academic authorities seized control of the site. The bones disappeared, and the chamber was sealed, its history erased from public memory. The Montana Giants embodied a forgotten era, one that defied the linear progression of human history. Their deliberate concealment was a reminder of the power wielded by those who curate our past, ensuring only certain truths see the light of day. As we draw the curtain on this saga of hidden history, the haunting question remains: who truly wrote our past? In 1919, the serene landscapes of Vermont became a crucible for this question. During the construction of a new road, workers uncovered a series of burial sites containing the remains of giants. These skeletons, standing over 12 feet tall, were accompanied by artifacts that defied known historical records. The discovery was briefly celebrated in local newspapers, but was swiftly suppressed by a team of historians who declared the site off-limits. The bones and artifacts vanished, never to be examined or acknowledged by the public. This final act of erasure speaks to a greater truth. Our history is a tapestry woven by those in power who decide which threads are allowed to show. The giants of Vermont, and those like them, are reminders that our past is far more complex than we are led to believe. The mystery of these hidden giants is not just a tale of bones and artifacts. It is a testament to the lengths those in power will go to control the narrative of our past. In 1911, the sprawling fields of Iowa yielded a discovery that again threatened the status quo. During routine agricultural work, farmers unearthed a massive burial mound containing the remains of several giants. Each skeleton was accompanied by ornate pottery and tools that suggested a rich cultural heritage. Initial excitement was quickly dampened as representatives from a national museum arrived, confiscating the remains under the guise of further study. The mound was declared a protected site, its secrets locked away from public scrutiny. This wasn't just a case of preservation. It was an active suppression of a history that would question the linear narrative of human development. The Iowa giants represented a civilization whose story was erased, their legacy reduced to whispers. The tale of hidden giants takes another turn in the year 1906, amidst the lush forests of Oregon. Loggers, deep in the wilderness, stumbled upon a cave filled with the remains of giant humans. These skeletons, preserved by the cool, damp environment, were surrounded by ancient carvings and artifacts that hinted at a sophisticated society. The loggers' find was initially met with awe, but the narrative shifted when academic authorities intervened, sealing the site and confiscating the evidence. The cave was declared off-limits, its contents removed from public view. The Oregon giants, with their advanced tools and art, posed uncomfortable questions about the capabilities of prehistoric civilizations. Their story was silenced, not due to lack of interest, but as part of a broader effort to maintain control over the narrative of human history, ensuring that only select truths were allowed to emerge. In 1904, the rolling hills of Kentucky held a secret that would once again challenge the sanitized version of history. During a mining operation, workers uncovered a massive sarcophagus containing the remains of a giant. The sarcophagus, intricately carved and sealed with a mysterious script, suggested a burial practice far more advanced than previously known. News of the discovery spread quickly, attracting the attention of local historians. But before the find could be properly studied, representatives from a prestigious university arrived, removing the sarcophagus and its contents. The site was marked as a restricted area, its history buried beneath layers of official silence. The Kentucky giant, with its advanced burial techniques, hinted at a civilization that possessed knowledge and skills far ahead of its time, a civilization whose story was deliberately erased to protect the established narrative of human progression. The story of hidden giants finds yet another chapter in 1917 within the desolate expanses of the Nevada desert. An archaeological expedition, searching for Native American artifacts, stumbled upon a site that defied conventional history. Buried beneath layers of sand, They discovered the remains of a giant surrounded by artifacts of remarkable craftsmanship. These items, crafted from materials unknown to the region, suggested a trade network or cultural exchange far more extensive than previously believed. The discovery was briefly celebrated in academic circles before the site was abruptly closed by federal authorities. The bones and artifacts vanished, their existence denied in subsequent reports. The Nevada giant challenged the simplistic view of prehistoric cultures, hinting at a complex network of civilizations that thrived in the desert long before recorded history. The silence that followed was a reminder of the power wielded by those who dictate the boundaries of our past. As the journey through hidden history draws to a close, one final mystery beckons from the shores of the Pacific Northwest. In 1918, during a coastal excavation, researchers uncovered the remains of a giant entombed in a stone chamber. The chamber, meticulously constructed and adorned with marine motifs, suggested a maritime culture with advanced engineering skills. The discovery was initially hailed as a breakthrough, but the narrative swiftly changed as representatives from a national museum intervened, removing the remains and sealing the site. The Pacific Northwest giant, with its sophisticated burial practices, posed questions about the extent of prehistoric cultures and their understanding of the world. The deliberate suppression of this find speaks to a broader truth. Our history is a tapestry woven by those who control the narrative, ensuring that only certain threads are allowed to shine. The giants of the past and their forgotten stories are a testament to the complexity of human history.